Where's Finn? The transitions in this movie were very on the nose, especially at the beginning. Like, whenever they mentioned somebody, they would just immediately cut to that person. Or even if they, like, obliquely mentioned them, like, if they were like, Luke Skywalker, why don't you like being a Jedi anymore? They would just cut to Kylo Ren and show you what he was doing. It kind of reminded me of the segues on Buffy, except, like, they weren't intended to be funny. I kind of liked it. It was very, over the top. I think the movie was quite long for me. I know that's just the way of Star Wars, but given that it was long for me, I kind of appreciated, like, the short scenes and, like, the fact that, like, as soon as you start thinking about someone, you just already see them. So that was kind of a good way to keep it moving, I guess. This review is mainly for Josh, because Josh cares what I think. I don't really, like... I'm not a big Star Wars fan. I'm basically just, like, a Finn super fan, and, yeah. Prior to seeing The Force Awakens, I wasn't that into Star Wars at all. So I don't know that much about it. And I realize I've waited a long time to see the movie anyway. I guess I'll start off by talking about Finn and why I like him so much. I think what I've always really liked about Finn is the fact that he has this really traumatic past, but he's also just kind of a comedic and awkward character. Like, he's kind of the type of character that you would expect to be a sidekick, but he's the main character. And he's also not really very, like, cool. Like, I think one thing that I don't like about how, like, characters who are traumatized or have a dark past are usually depicted is that I feel like they're not usually allowed to be funny unless it's in kind of, like, a cool, like, bitter way. Like, whereas, you know, just because not everybody who's had, like, a traumatic past or something has the same personality. So I always, you know, I kind of like the fact that Finn kind of breaks that stereotype by being kind of like this awkward guy who's, like, often in embarrassing situations. And I also think that, like, they make a lot of his awkwardness and some of his kind of wimpy behavior and stuff, I feel like they actually make that, like, pretty believably come from his trauma and the kind of things that he's been through, and the fact that his decision to leave the First Order was kind of impulsive, and I don't know. I just think he's a really great character. Oh, I guess I was just going to talk about my shipping. I was going to say I really like Rose, I think, to put it really briefly, I think for a lot of the reasons that I like Finn, I feel like she has some of those same traits. And I feel like I would be shipping them, and the only reason I'm kind of not was because I felt like them meeting each other and, like, you know, getting on this whole project together was extremely forced. It really reminded me of Love is an Open Door from Frozen, you know, where the guy gets the girl to fall in love with him by, like, tricking her into thinking that they have a lot in common. Like, when Rose and Finn were, like, talking at the same time and, like, finishing each other's sentences, I thought that, like, it was supposed to be, like, one of them was doing it on purpose to, like, get in with the other person, but I think it was actually really just trying to be used for the traditional effect of showing that they're really on the same page, but it didn't really work, even though I liked everything else about them. It was extremely awkward when that creepy man approached BB-8 and started just shoving coins inside her, although I'm glad that she was able to use them later. I'll refer to my notes. I don't know if I've commented on this, Josh, but even though I've defended Rey against your claims that she's a Mary Sue, I don't actually like her that much. I'm sure Daisy Ridley is a great person, but I think I just don't personally find her very appealing as an actor, like, at all. So Rey just kind of, to me, isn't that appealing. I was shocked that Kylo Ren was too lazy to put on his own concealer, and those robots had to do it for him. I thought that Rey and Kylo's relationship, like, their, you know, forced mind meld was, like, believable because Snoke did it, and they're both, like, so powerful and everything, but it was also exactly like every fan fiction that everyone ever wrote when they were 12, well, for me at least, like, that I really wanted my ship to, like, talk to each other, and I just didn't care, like how much it didn't make sense for them to talk to each other, or how maybe they didn't need to have like a really intense conversation with each other, but they just like, they're just gonna do it. Like when I would write these stories, I guess I didn't put as much work in as like these guys did, but like when I would write my stories, I just like wouldn't even like think about why the two characters in my fan fiction were talking to each other. Like I wouldn't even have any setting, and like I wouldn't say like where they were, and they wouldn't say hello to each other, and you wouldn't even know if they were psychically talking, or if they were like on AIM, or if like they were on the phone, or if they were together in person, or what was going on. Like, they would just start immediately having a deep conversation about their intense feelings, and that was the entire fic. That's what Raylo was kind of reminding me of. Snoke, I felt, was really dumb. Like, obviously Kylo Ren is evil, at least in the sense that, you know, I don't think he's driven by, like, moral qualms or ethics or anything. But, like, the fact that he's evil means that, like, if you obviously realize that he has feelings for Rey, then, you know, I feel like Snoke should have been like, yo, Kylo Ren, like, I'll totally help you, like, turn Rey evil and have her as your, you know, girlfriend, or at least, like, be pals or something. Like, I feel like if someone is evil, you shouldn't try to, like, depend on their total loyalty and try to get them to do something that they'll really hate. So, yeah, I feel like Snoke could have easily not gotten killed if he just didn't try to get Kylo Ren to choose between him and somebody that he was obviously into. I also thought, this isn't sounding like a very positive review, but I actually really loved the movie. I thought Kylo Ren's backstory was, like, the weakest part of the movie, although I'm not sure how it could have been done better. I think it just felt a little difficult that they didn't, like, they wanted to try and make Kylo Ren somewhat sympathetic, and they wanted to make Luke gray, but they also didn't really want to make Luke have actually done something bad. So it was literally just like, he thought about doing something bad, but then he decided not to, but it just so coincidentally happened that Kylo Ren found out and turned evil just because he found out that Luke was thinking about it. It felt like we were supposed to accept kind of like the gray stuff and that he was feeling guilty without, you know, really committing to, like, saying that your hero did something bad. I enjoyed the scene where Luke was, you know, projecting himself, but I personally thought that it would have been cooler if he had like, died, like, when Kylo Ren shot him, and he was just a ghost the whole time. I think I messaged you about how Anna loved those goats. She was really enjoying the whole movie, but, like, as soon as the goats came on screen and the goats were liberated, she was just like, I think I'm not going to post this on my main YouTube, so I can just stop trying to explain inside jokes or anything like that. Now that I've actually been watching it, this is real bad. I think you will like it, though, because you are, man, you'll just eat anything I feed to you. Sorry about that. I don't know why that is. Anyway. Oh yeah, so she really liked those goats. I was wondering why Finn and Rose didn't think about the consequences that the little kids might face for letting the goats escape. Like, I thought that they were gonna save the kids and, like, bring them, but they didn't. They just left them there, and they didn't seem to feel bad about it. And I guess in the end, it didn't turn out that the kids were, like, you know, executed for it or anything. But, like, they could have, you know, they didn't even seem to care about it. It felt like they cared more about the goats than the little kids. What else? I really liked those turtle ladies. I liked them a lot more than the porgs, actually. One thing I really enjoyed was that Poe was wrong. Richard and Chris came with us because they really wanted to see the movie again. And Chris was, like, saying as they were driving me home for the movie, that she thought that a lot of guys would probably be mad about how many ladies were in the movie, and I kind of agree. I mean, that's unfortunate that I know that's true, but, like, I really liked how there was, like, such a strong older female presence in the movie. I was surprised that I wasn't that upset by seeing Carrie, but I was okay. Yeah, Laura Dern's character was super great. Even though she and Carrie didn't, like, actually start sucking face during the movie, I know that they wanted to. And I just thought it was really great that Poe was wrong, that we were like going through this whole storyline where it was like, oh, like the cool independent young man is realizing that his like rebellious idea is so much cooler than like the dumb plan that like the older polite lady wearing a dress wants to do. Oh no, he actually was wrong and she was right because she was older and more experienced than him. That was very satisfying. I think I just got really excited about seeing this movie as soon as you saw it, and I begged you to tell me all of the spoilers. People always don't want to give me spoilers because they don't understand that, like, I really want them. And, like, I feel like when you told me all the spoilers, it just made me, like, so much more into the movie because, not that I wasn't interested before because I love Finn, but I feel like anything that, like, would have been boring, like, they just kind of overturned it and, like, intentionally inverted or kind of, like, questioned or kind of like poked fun at like a lot of cliches that like we might have expected would have happened in the movie, and I really enjoyed that about it. I have to say, you said you thought that like Finray, I guess is the ship name, that Finray was going to be Endgame, but I didn't really get that impression. Like I felt like I would have thought it in the first movie, but in this movie I just kind of felt like they're very intense about each other, but you know, it's more like you and me, maybe less like you and me. Like I feel like they just seem kind of more like siblings, maybe. I guess we'll see what happens. What else was I gonna say? I think did I mention how Rey and Kylo Ren both run like this for some reason? And I think that's funny. I really enjoyed the scene where Rey was with all those other Reys for some reason. And I thought it was really good how they set it up so that she was talking to Kylo Ren about it, so that she was able to narrate the scene. That was clever. Like, I almost thought that even if they never showed why she was narrating it, it was still, like, such a strong device that I would have accepted it. But that was really good. I liked their mind meld. Like, as stupid and weird as it was that they would just, like, look up and the other person would be there, it really worked. Yeah, I guess that's all of my notes. I really did enjoy the movie. I kind of wish I had written more notes. The problem is, whenever I try to write notes to talk to you, I write them on my arm during the movie, and it's dark, and so I can't see what I'm writing, and then I end up seeing these things where, like, I can't see what they say. Like, I eventually was able to figure out what all of these things say, but it really took a long time. And I can't write more notes because, like, you know, it'll get even worse if they're all on top of each other. So that's why I can't really think of a lot to say about the movie. But I really enjoyed it. I loved those things, just like Anna did. I thought all the design and everything was really cool. I thought Laura Dern was one of the best characters, and I love Rose, and there's the fact that, like, when John Boyega just, like, I watched it in XD, so it was, like, a really big screen, and, like, to me, like, when he looks at the camera and it feels like he's looking at you, like, I just feel like my whole body is melting into, like, cream of wheat or, like, pudding or something. Like, the, like, force of his, like, adorability is just, like, so strong. He's so handsome. Okay, so that's what I think about that.